Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing good, fit and fine. Good morning, good morning. Yes, very good morning to all of you. So, guys, we are right now live on different platforms. We are live on Zoom also. We are live on uh, YouTube channel of Vsmart also and YouTube channel of Ravi Taori also. Okay, so uh, it won't be possible to see all the chats all the time, but then I will be able to see chats of the Zoom. If you want to join the Zoom session, simply go to the description, and from description you can get the link. As I said earlier in my video that some of the lectures will be available on YouTube, and then remaining lectures will be provided on our Auditguru app. And in this special, these lectures are in complete English, full English. Okay, and if anyone is preferring Hindi and English mix, then I have given the link for those lectures also. If you are looking for notes from where to study uh, this particular chapter, then these notes are given. I have just now uploaded it on Audit Guru Telegram channel. Okay, so please go to Audit Guru Telegram channel. My sincere apologies, maybe because uh, our video may have some quality issues, minute quality issues, because our camera is malfunctioning. So that's fine. We'll have to bear with that. We don't have any option. So we are using a spare camera. Our main camera has gone to repairs. Okay, guys. Now we're starting with very interesting topic, super duper interesting topic, and that is professional ethics. We know that it can account for around 16 marks in examination, and these marks are very important because you can score 16 out of 16, because questions will be MCQ based or case study based, and if you can crack those cases, then you can get full marks. Now in theory subject, it is difficult to score full marks, but here it is comparatively easy to score full marks, and that's why this becomes so important. And there has been some changes also, so we are going to cover all those changes in these lectures. So let's start with the class, and I'll be happy to see your chats on the Zoom. You can continuously interact with me, because interaction is something that's very important for me. If you are interacting, then it's very easy for me to deliver my lecture, deliver my class. Great. I'm seeing a lot of interactions. That's wonderful. Yes, class will go on till 10:30. Just a minute, guys. Okay. So let's see the introduction. Introduction part is very simple. See, there's a very simple principle. Eye for eye will make whole world blind. Simple. If one person is hitting another, then other person is, I will also hit you. And if everyone is going to fight, then this whole world will become blind. That's a very simple principle. Eye for eye will make whole world blind. On the same lines, if a person says that I am earning through fraud, and other person gets inside, I also wants to earn through fraud. If everyone thinks that we want to earn through fraud, this world will become bankrupt one day, because everyone is thinking that let's earn from fraud only. On the same lines, if one chartered accountant says that I am earning a lot of money through frauds, and other chartered accountant gets inspired, then people will lose all the faith on the CA Institute and chartered accountancy profession. And unfortunately, people will lose all their faith, and then they may say that CA Institute is no longer required. We don't need them. It's of no use. So guys, it's very important that chartered accountant should remain ethical. Ethics are the principles which tell us what is morally correct and what is morally incorrect. So what is good, what is bad, and they tell us what should be done and what should not be done. Very simple. Professional ethic means what things should be done, and professionally what things should not be done. These are do's and don'ts in our professional lives, in our professional activities. In India, when we talk about chartered accountancy, it is governed by some documents. Let's understand. If you want professional ethics, what are the sources of professional ethics? Where are we going to get these professional ethics? Okay. So we are going to get it from CA Act, which is passed by Parliament. It is having the highest authority. So see, we have written in a beautiful sequence by CA Act, which is passed by Parliament. Then we are going to get it from rules. Rules are made by government as per the authority given by CA Act. So these rules also govern, but they are not in our course. So that is just for knowledge purpose. Then below that we have regulations. Regulations are issued by Council of ICAI as per the powers given by CA Act. As per the powers given by CA Act. Then guidelines which are issued again by Council of ICAI, but these are apart from the requirements of the CA Act. So now the regulations are issued as per the requirement of CA Act. Guidelines are issued over and above the requirements of CA Act. Plus a very important document, that is Code of Ethics. So when we talk about professional ethics for chartered accountants, these are the sources. CA Act is the source. Below that, rules by central government is the source. Below that, regulations issued as per the requirement of CA Act are the source. And then the guidelines issued by the council apart from the requirement of CA Act, they are the source. And then Code of Ethics. Code of Ethics is the source. Now listen guys, I would like to elaborate more about the Code of Ethics. We are going to study it later. So when we talk about Code of Ethics, recently new Code of Ethics is introduced. Applicable from 1st of July 2020. 1st of July 2020. It is divided into 3 volumes. We have volume 1, volume 2 and volume 3. Given 3 parts. So when we talk about volume 1, it is based on code of ethics issued by International Ethical Standard Board, as ISBA, International Ethical Standard Board for Accountants. So it is having this particular volume 1 tells us the most important fundamental principles on which the whole ethics is based, and it further explains how to implement these fundamental principles in practical life. So we are having a small overview. We are having small overview in our course, not in complete detail, which we are going to see later. Not right now. Then, when we talk about volume 2, volume 2 is based on CA Act. It is based on CA Act. It is having important sections of CA Act which governs our professional lives. Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 to CA Act, along with clarifications, along with guidelines, clarifications, interpretations of the sections and the schedules of the CA Act. We are going to majorly focus on this. Our module and our notes are based on volume 2 of the Code of Ethics. And then we have volume 3. This is collection of case studies. Is a collection of the judgments passed by the courts, by the council, by board of disciplinary committee. We are going to see these are the various judgments with respect to professional misconduct. It's a collection of case studies, collection of judgments. So instead of case studies, we can better write is collection of judgments. Collection of judgments in cases of professional. We are going to study these terms later. Professional and other misconduct. So if chartered accountants did any unethical activity, then proceedings will be held against them for professional other misconducts, and then judgments will be passed. So it's collection of those judgments. So there are 3 volumes. So now we know what are the sources. What are the sources of professional ethics? Just a minute, guys. Now, what are these fundamental principles? We are going to study about this later, and we are going to study this with the help of charts which we have recently made. But then we know this fundamental principle. To be ethical means, if you want to be ethical, we are supposed to follow 5 principles. Number 1, integrity, honesty. Integrity, being honest, being truthful, being straightforward, most important. Then, next, being unbiased. Don't come under pressure of any person and don't work under the influence of money, influence of bribe, influence of personal benefits. Objectivity, being unbiased. Then, if you want to be ethical, be professionally updated, be competent. You should know about all the recent changes in the laws which govern the assignment, in the standards, accounting standards, Ind AS, auditing standards. You should be all updated, you should be aware about the changes, and you should work carefully. Being ethical means giving importance to your professional work, being updated, and then working carefully. Then, professional behavior. Respect the law which is applicable to the assignment. Respect the law, respect the regulatory authorities, fulfill their expectations, and don't do anything which brings disrepute to the institute, which discredits the institute. Don't do something which is going to spoil name of ICAI. That's called professional behavior. And lastly, maintain confidentiality. People have shown a lot of faith on you. Maintain that trust. Don't breach this confidentiality. Otherwise, clients will not share any information with you. So it's very simple, straightforward. Be honest. Don't come under pressure or don't come under greed. You should not be under pressure. You should not be under the greed. Be updated and work carefully. Professional competence and due care. Show professional behavior. Respect the law. Don't disrepute. Don't do anything which is going to bring disrepute the institute, and maintain confidentiality. These are 5 fundamental principles, and on these principles, everything else is based. This is a foundation of professional ethics. There is a shortcut also. CBI office explains what are the fundamental ethical principles. CBI office. C for competence and due care. C for confidentiality. B for behavior, professional behavior. I for integrity. O for objectivity. Either ways, there are 2 ways of remembering it. Either you go with the logical flow. Logical flow is the which principle is the most important. I think this is the most logical flow. Or otherwise you can have mnemonic also. Okay. Now, first thing which we are going to target is CA Act. Now, all the sections of CA Act are not important. All the sections are not important, guys. But then we are going to focus on we are just going to take overview of the CA Act, and we are going to focus on the important sections only. Okay. Let's see. So CA Act is divided into a lot of chapters. This thing is not very important. It's only for the purpose of overview. We have chapter number 1, which is having section 1 and 2, which is about applicability of CA Act, and definition. Then after that, we have section 3 to section 8, which is regarding membership. Most important thing, membership of CA Institute. How person can become member of ICAI. Then you are going to need a body, governing body, which is going to regulate the whole profession, regulate the whole profession and regulate all the members. So that governing body is council. So for council, we have section 9 to 18. For central council, which is going to govern the whole profession and all the members, we have section 9 to 18. It's very simple to remember in the flow. 1 and 2 is basics, applicability of the act and definition. 3 to 8, then 3 to 8 is about membership. Then 9 to 18 is about central council. Then 19 and 20 is about register to be maintained. There should be a register which should give detail who are the members of the institute who can provide accountancy services in India. Then we have section 21 to 22G. That's most important for us. Most important for us. It tells us which activities, it is going to tell us which activities will be considered as wrong, that means misconduct, which activities will be considered as professional misconduct, which activities will be considered as other misconduct, and so it's going to give us list of things. And if any chartered accountant does a misconduct, then how proceedings will be done against him and how he is going to be punished. So that is given in section 21 to 22G, that is chapter 5. Then we have section 23, that is about regional councils. That one central council is not going to be sufficient. One central council will not be sufficient to manage all the members, all the regions. So we have regional councils. Then we have section 24 to 28, that is regarding fines and penalties. Then a new series was introduced, 28A to 28D, that is about quality review. So we study the chapter quality review. So the source of that is from the CA Act, Professional Ethics. And then we have miscellaneous, section 29 to section 23. It's very simple, straightforward. 1 and 2, applicability and definition. 3 to 8, membership. 9 to 18, council. 19-20, register. 21-22G is regarding misconducts and how to proceed in misconduct. 23 is regarding council. 24-28 regarding fines and penalties. 28A to D is regarding quality review, and then miscellaneous. No need to remember this. It's just an overview. You should know that there are around 33 sections and 8 chapters. That will be sufficient if you know that there are 33 sections and 8 chapters in CA Act. Now next is, first is section number 1. Section number 1 is regarding applicability. We have section number 1. This is regarding applicability of CA Act. Okay. CA Act is applicable to whole of India, including Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, so geographically it is applicable to whole of India, including Jammu and Kashmir. Geographical applicability. When we talk about time frame, it got applicable from 1st of July 1949, and that's why we have 1st of July as CA Day, because this is the day from which CA Act became applicable, it became functional. But then Jammu and Kashmir, it got applicable from 1968, 15th of August 1968. That is not having any relevance or importance. That's fine. As on today, it's applicable to the whole of India. That is important. But then when we talk about people, persons to whom it is applicable, majority of the provisions, definitely, the whole act, in fact, majority, 99% of the provisions are for chartered accountants, and chartered accountants means members of ICAI. These guys, they may be working in India or outside India. Now that's interesting. Because as you study many of the sections, it is clearly said that it is applicable to all the chartered accountants. That means all the members of ICAI, even if they are working in India or outside India, that doesn't matter. That's interesting, because this is going to be useful in few cases, that it is applicable to all the chartered accountants, whether they are working in India or they are working outside India. Don't worry about this. When we are going to see case studies, it will get covered automatically. Now, so that was Now we have very important section number 2. It gives us definition. And the most important definition is concept of members deemed to be in practice. Okay. Listen guys. So in our Bhaskar note, many of you must be aware, we have provided super linking. What is super linking? Next to each concept, each concept you can see in red, CNO 654, 655, 655.050 and so on. Next to each concept, you are going to get question numbers. You are going to get question numbers. Okay, so these are the question numbers you are supposed to study. And you are also going to get the MCQs. So as soon as you complete lecture, you are aware these are the questions which I am supposed to study today. These are the MCQs which I am supposed to study today. I am going to provide you audio lecture of the audio revision of the each lecture, and apart from that, I am also planning to give you videos which are going to cover all the questions and MCQs also. So got a lot of plans. The only limiting factor is time. So I wish if I would have got more time, I would have done more and more, and that too as soon as possible. Okay. Let's see guys. Now what is this concept of members deemed to be in practice? As we'll go ahead and see that 95% of the provisions of the CA Act, law, rules, regulations, everything, 95% of that is only for those chartered accountants who have taken COP from ICAI and they are into public practice. So 95% of the professional ethics, all the requirements of CA Act is for those chartered accountants who are in practice. So that means those who are in practice, they have lot of obligations under the CA Act. And now other chartered accountants, they are relaxed, they are free from burden. They are relaxed, they are free from burden because many of the provisions are not applicable to them. Okay. So because of this concept that 95% is applicable to one category and almost nothing is applicable to another category. Because of this thing, chartered accountants are sometimes hesitant to take certificate of practice. Because as soon as they take certificate of practice, everything will get applicable to them. So, what some chartered accountants thought, I will do practice related work without taking COP. That means I am going to earn money through practice and I will protect myself, save myself from all the obligations, because I am not taking COP. So basically, some chartered accountants tried to act smart. So, try to act smart. Now, lawmakers were aware. Some chartered accountants will try to do this. They will try to act smart. So, they have this very interesting and very simple deeming fiction. What it says, basically section 2, subsection 2, it gives list of activities that if a chartered accountant is found doing these activities, we are going to assume that that chartered accountant is in practice even if he has not taken COP. We are going to assume that, and we are going to make whole professional ethics applicable to him. And if he is not complying with anything, he will be punished for it. So this deeming fiction is basically for over smart chartered accountants, extra smart, over smart chartered accountants. You all must be having some friends, some relatives or some neighbors who act extraordinary smart even when they are not. even when they are not correct. So those who are trying to act, trying to act super smart, so it's for them to bring them under the domain of practice and make professional ethics applicable to them. Now listen, guys, in section 2, subsection 2, section 2, subsection 2, we have clause 1, clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, clause 4. There are 4 clauses. Now you never get this question, what is written in clause 1, what is written in clause 2, what is written in clause 3, what is written in clause 4. Then why to spend our time and energy in studying in that manner? Okay, so we have clause section 2, subsection 2, we have clause 1, clause 2, clause 3, and clause 4 is very interesting. Clause 4 says that council has power to increase this list of activities. So clause 4 gives council power that if you want, you can increase this list of activity as and when required as per your understanding. So way back they increased this list by issuing regulation 191. And then in 2006-7 they again increased the list by issuing list of activities under heading management consultancy services. Okay, these are simply list of activities. If a chartered accountant is found doing these activities, he will be deemed to be in practice. We have clause 1 to 3. Clause 4 gives power. Under this power, institute has issued 2 things. They have issued regulation 191 and then further they have issued one more list that's called management consultancy services. Now guys, don't study this particular topic like DT, IDT or law. Please don't study it like that. Otherwise, you are going to get hell confused. Correct? Don't study it as per that. Now in DT, IDT and law, DT, IDT and when we talk about law, these are all recent laws. They are recent laws. They are updated on regular basis. There are a lot of rules on interpretation, lot of case laws for interpretation. They are highly polished and very high quality laws, rules and regulation. They're regularly updated. Very good set. In that set, words are given a lot of importance. And all the interpretation happens with the help of the words and statements. But then, when we talk about C Act, it's a very old act, 1949. It's a very, very old act, 1949. The frequency of amendment is extremely low. The last time it was amended was 2007. And frequency of issuing regulation is also extremely low. What I want to say, this is not a very high, see, this is very important act for us as professional and for studies also. But I am explaining that if you see from law point of view, it is not a very high quality legislation, very high quality rules and regulations. And in this, interpretation is going to happen with the help of words. But then more than that, we have to understand how Council of ICAI interprets it. That is extremely important. So in some places you will find that interpretation of council, guidelines of council, clarifications of council are sometimes different from what section says. or what regulation says, this may happen. It may be little different or little weird. Don't worry much about it. Don't worry much about it. Try to understand what is the intention of the council, why they did this. Try to understand that intention and then go with that intention and interpretation. Don't be bothered much, otherwise people get lost. Sir, this is the word in this particular section or clause, and this is what clarification is given. They are contradicting with each other. What to do now? It's very simple. Follow the clarifications given by the council. They're having some important intention. Simply follow that. And that's what codes do. That's what government do. Government says that Council of ICAI is more knowledgeable. Code says that Council of ICAI is more knowledgeable. They know about the recent changes. They know about the challenges. So interpretation made by them, clarification made by them is having so much of importance that sometimes it may be little different from the sections or regulation. Little different, I am saying, not extremely different, little different. Okay. Now, guys, I am going to give you explanation also, and apart from that, I am going to tell you how to remember things. That's extremely important, because in audit, we have to remember things also. So here we have, see what I have written. We have section 2, subsection 2. I have given you the structure. Combined interpretation of all the clauses in section 2, subsection 2. Okay, let's have the combined interpretation. So if a chartered accountant will be deemed to be in practice if he does below given activities for remuneration received or receivable. For remuneration received or receivable. So if chartered accountant does any activity without any charges, suppose he is doing any activity as a charity. He is doing accounting of an NGO. He is doing accounting of an NGO as a charity. He is giving financial consultancy as a charity. Correct? Then he will not be deemed to be in practice. So if a chartered accountant is doing any work for remuneration, then he will be deemed to be in practice. If he is doing for charity, it will not be deemed to be in practice. And it should be in professional capacity. That means contract of giving service should be in his name. That means professional capacity. That means he must be involved in giving professional services. If he is working, so contract should be in his name. That means it should be a professional thing. If he is working as an employee, he is not under obligation to give final services to the client. His boss is under the obligation. CA firm is under the obligation. He is working only as an employee. If he is working only as an employee in a capacity of employee, contract of giving service is not in his name. Again, deemed to be in practice will not get applicable. Or if he is working in personal capacity, that means he is helping friends, relatives and friends. Okay, then again this deeming fiction will not get applicable. So it's very simple. The concept of deemed to be in practice will get applicable to chartered accountant only if he is working for remuneration and he is working in professional capacity as a person doing practice, either individually or in partnership with CA or other specified professionals. Okay. Now what is this list? Let's focus on this particular list. What I have done, I have divided the list in two parts. So there are practice related points even their service job related points. We'll see it later. Let's see. Now guys, these activities are covered in logical sequence. So if any chartered accountant after becoming CA describe himself to public, it describes to everyone that he is a public accountant, he is involved in accountancy services. He describes that, yes, I am involved into accountancy services. Moment he describes himself that he is involved in accountancy services, he is provider of accounting services, he will be deemed to be in practice. See, it's in logical sequence. If he after becoming chartered, if he describes, he will be deemed to be in practice. Then next, if he goes and sets up the office, if he sets up the office, that again it will be deemed, he will be deemed to be in practice. Then next, he offers accounting or auditing services, or performs accounting or auditing services, or any related activities like accounting consultancy, preparation of books of accounts, records, any kind of verification, any kind of audit. Even if he offers or performs any kind of accounting or auditing services, he will be deemed to be in practice. Apart from accounting and auditing, if he gives advisory or represent clients in any of the tax, costing or financial matters, if he gives any kind of advisory or he represent client in tax, costing, finance, again deemed to be in practice. These are basically our subjects, these are our domain. See, as I said, it is arranged in a logical manner. After becoming chartered, if you describe, deemed to be in practice. Office setup, deemed to be in practice. Offers, even if you offer, deemed to be in practice. If you perform, deemed to be in practice. Tax, costing, finance, advisor, representative, deemed to be in practice. Then they had Regulation 191. Regulation 191. It was issued way back. It was issued. If chartered accountant is doing any work where a lot of money is involved, lot of fortune is in, lot of money, wealth, assets are involved, he should behave ethically. Again, he will be deemed to be in practice. So we have an individual person who dies. Now he has his will and he has distributed his assets to family members, to society, charity, etc. You need a person who will read the will, interpret the will and do the allocation and distribution. Such person is called executor. Now those who have studied from me, I am in love with the sequence. I love the flow because I know that it plays very important role in memorizing things. If you want to memorize things, it's very important to have very fluid, very lucent, very simple flow. So if an individual dies and if any chartered accountant is appointed as executor, he will be deemed to be in practice. Now in case of company, if debentures appoint any chartered accountant as a receiver, we appoint you as a receiver, you sell the assets and get our money. Again, deemed to be in practice. If in company, now before we go to company, so bigger than the individual is trust. So if any chartered accountant appointed as trustee, it's a very responsible position. You need to ensure that assets are used properly for the beneficiaries. And many times beneficiaries can be public at large. Or in case of companies appointed as receiver, or when companies getting closed, you sell all the assets and pay off the liabilities, appointed as liquidator. Okay. or in case of dispute, chartered accountant is appointed as arbitrator, or court appoints it, or court appoints him as administrator or arbiter. See, court say that till the time dispute is going on, so and so chartered accountant will be appointed as administrator to run the business, to run this factory, and so on. Again, it's a very responsible job. So in these six cases, if chartered accountant is appointed, given this particular role, he will be again deemed to be in practice. Even if he has not taken COP, again deemed to be in practice. Okay. Now, next is important, seventh. If he is appointed as secretary, the most important person in any ministry is secretary. These are generally IS officers. You must have heard about it. Finance secretary, defense secretary, home secretary. These are the IS officers. Sometimes chartered accountant can be appointed at this particular position. These are very important position. Chartered accountants may be appointed at this particular position. Then they are called secretary to central government, secretary to state government. Secretary to central government, secretary to state government. Now, if you're appointed at this important position, again it will be deemed to be in practice. But then there is a clarification. If all these appointments are on salary cum full-time basis, that means you are appointed as an employee, then deeming fiction will not get applicable. That's very simple, deeming fiction, and we have already studied it. So it's a mere clarification that if these appointments are on salary cum full-time basis, then you're working like an employee, then deeming fiction is not going to apply. Okay, it's very simple, straightforward. So guys, as I said, it's in a sequence: describing, setting up office, offering, performing, advisory, representative, doing this work where a lot of money is involved, a lot of stake is involved, everything is deemed to be in practice. Now, it's an exception. Service related, yes. Sometimes chartered accountants in service. Sometimes chartered accountants in service are deemed to be in practice. Now, this is very unique situation, a weird situation. A person who is doing job, deeming fiction is imposed on it. There is a reason for it. If a chartered accountant is working as an employee, salaried employee under any chartered accountant in practice or CA firm in practice, you must have seen this. Come on, tell me guys, have you seen such things? That a chartered accountant is working under another CA in practice or another CA firm? That's a very common thing. You will see many chartered accountants doing this, of course, isn't it? You see in mid-size firms, big firms, big four firms, you see chartered account, very common thing. Now these guys, they are working as employee. Then also deeming fiction will be made applicable to them. But don't be worried. It is not to put obligations on them. No. It is not to put obligations on them. Then why? It is for limited purpose to give them right to train article. It is for limited purpose to give right to train articles. I don't know if you are aware, CAs who are working under another CA or CA firm, practicing CA or CA firm, they can train one article. Are you aware about this? Have you heard about this before? They can train one article. Now a chartered accountant who is in practice, he may train up to 10 articles. He may train up to 10 articles depending on his seniority. We are going to see later. But a chartered accountant who is working as an employee under another CA or CA firm, he cannot train 10 articles, he can train 1 article. So this deeming fiction is not to put any obligation. This deeming fiction is to give him right to train article. And there's a condition, that's again just for the knowledge. If he's having the job experience of 3 years or more, if there's a chartered account having job experience of 3 years or more, and currently he is working under CA firm, he is deemed to be in practice for limited purpose of right to train 1 article. For limited purpose of right to train 1 article. He will not be under any obligations. So this deeming fiction is unique. This deeming fiction is unique. It is wonderful. It is unique, it is wonderful. Okay? Because you are not getting any obligation, you are getting right. Okay. Then if a chartered accountant is working with armed forces, if you are working with military, you are working with air force, okay, you are working with navy, again you are doing very important work, very important work. You will be deemed to be in practice so that your behavior is always ethical. Okay guys, so we have covered deeming fiction. Now they have increased this particular list by issuing one more list, and that is called as Management Consultancy Services, ICAI extended list of these activities by issuing a brand new list that's called management consultancy services. Now please tell me guys if you got any doubts. Please put on the chat on Zoom or guys, we are going to have, so I'm going to see some chats. You got any doubt guys, you can put it here. Yeah, good morning guys. Okay, if you got any doubt, just put it on the chat. Okay, so no doubts at all, sir. Everything is fine, everything is going good, fantastic. Yes. If a chartered accountant is working under another CA or CA firm, okay, he will be able to train 1 article only because he is into job. If any chartered accountant has COP, certificate of practice, and he is a partner, certificate of practice, he can train up to 10 articles. So it's very simple. CA employee, it's very simple. CA employee can train 1 article, and CA having COP can train up to 10 articles. That is the basic difference. We are going to discuss about portfolio management services later. Okay. Let's see guys, then we'll go for break by 8:30. It's very simple. We are going to have first session 7 to 8:30 and then the next session after 10 minutes break up to 10:30. Now let's see. Now let's see this wonderful list of management consultancy services. Okay. Now what is the importance of this list? Number one, if people are doing activities which are given in this list, if people are doing activities given in this list, they will be deemed to be in practice. That is the first implication. That's the first implication. Okay. Then next is it increases scope of existing chartered accountants who are in practice. It's wonderful. That means it increases the scope. That means existing chartered accountants can perform these activities as these are considered as practice related activities. So this list increases the scope of activities which can be performed by chartered accountants, those who are in practice. So second implication is it increases the scope. It increases the scope. It increases the horizon. It increases the domain of existing chartered accountants who are in practice. They can provide such services. It increases their scope, their domain. So that is interesting. Third interesting thing is you can perform these activities either in traditional form. You can perform it either in traditional form, as a individual practitioner or as a partnership firm. And second, that this can be done in the corporate form also. It can be in corporate form also by making management consultancy company, MCC, management consultancy company. That's wonderful. So these activities can be done in traditional form also, as an individual or as a partnership firm, and this can be done in modern form, in a corporate form also, by making management consultancy company. So you can compete with the big fours by making company also. That's interesting. We can create management consultancy company for this. And fourth very interesting point, few activities are excluded from management consultancy services. That means, and because of this, you will not be able to perform these activities in corporate form by making MCC. You will have to do this only in the traditional form. Some activities are excluded from the definition of management consultancy services. Why they are excluded? So that these activities are very sensitive, very important. They should be done in traditional form only, where individual person or partner becomes directly responsible. Which are these activities? Accounting, You cannot make a company and give accountancy services. This is because of section 25. We are going to study it later. So, you cannot make a company and give accountancy services. You cannot make company and give statutory audits and periodical audits. You cannot go for statutory and periodical audits. You cannot give tax consultancy services. Tax. And fourth, you cannot do activities given in regulation 191. Executor, receiver, liquidator, administrator, arbitrator. You cannot do these things. You cannot do these things. You cannot do these things in corporate form. It's very simple, guys. So there are four implications because of management consultant services. Number one, if any chartered accountant is doing these activities deemed to be in practice, it is going to increases scope of existing practitioners. They can do more activities. Third, you can have traditional form also. And you can have this corporate form also. And fourth, you won't be able to provide some services in corporate form. No, not allowed. Accountancy not allowed, prohibited by section 25. Statutory and periodical audits not allowed because they're excluded from the definition of MCS. Tax consultancy not allowed. Tax consultancy not allowed because tax consultancy again not allowed because it is excluded from the definition of MCS. Liquidation etc. services not allowed. Again, it is excluded from the definition of MCS. So when we talk about these services, these services can be given only in traditional form. Now guys, we have already seen now let's see this complete list. Let's see this complete list. We have already discussed that some of the things are excluded and there is a reason behind it. CA Institute doesn't want corporate form to be used for some services because they are very sensitive. They want these things to be done only in traditional form. So that's why when defining MCS, see what is the importance of MCS, what is one of the most important thing of MCS? You can use the traditional form also and you can use the corporate form. So the most important thing is for providing MCS, you can use corporate form. That's the most important thing. You can use the corporate form. But CA Institute didn't want corporate form in some practices, in some services. That's why they excluded them. No accountancy, no auditing, no taxation, and no regulation 191 activities. Now, we have a complete list. Complete list of the management consultancy services. Okay. See, I'm not going to see doubt on continuous basis. Okay. I'm going to see doubts only when I say so. Even if you put See, during the class you may ask doubt when I ask you to ask doubts, and after the class you can ask all the doubts you have after the class, or you can ask all the specific doubts. We answer each and everything. You have to go to auditguru.in website, and there is a discussion point area. Put all your doubts there. Put all your doubts there, we'll answer it. This class will go till 10:30. We have a fixed schedule in which we are supposed to complete this class. So class will go till 10:30. We are not going to curtail it till 10 o'clock. So that's not possible. We are going to cover professional ethics, company audit, and related topics in this particular class. Some classes will be available through YouTube, and rest of the classes will be available through our app. For limited time, we'll provide it on our app. Correct? For limited time. See, we cannot give courses completely free of cost, guys. That's not possible. People pay a lot for these classes. People pay around 8,000, 9,000 for these classes. We respect them, so we are not going to make it completely free. For limited time, it will be there. For limited time, it will be there. It's an opportunity for others who can use this opportunity to cover their course or revise their course. Chartered accountant can get COP immediately. Moment you become chartered accountant, you can apply for COP and you will get COP. You don't need any extra experience for that. That was a doubt. And I have already discussed what is the relevance and importance of management consultancy services. There are 4 important points with respect to management consultancy services. And as I said, you got any doubt, guys, you can post it on the site. And if you want to talk to me, time keeps changing. Right now, I'm available from evening 7 to 7:30. 7 to 7:30, you can talk to me. But first post doubt on the site, and if it is not solved there, then you can talk to me. Okay. See, we have to make these things to give quality services and to give. You will get all the details in the description. You will get all the details in the description. On which app I am being asked. Description, if you see the YouTube, you will get all the description. It's on Auditguru app. My number is 9096000033 7020699683. Majority of time you are going to find that this number is switched off. We are taking doubts, but we cannot take doubts on. We will definitely take doubts in the live class, but I cannot entertain doubts after every sentence. I cannot entertain doubt after every sentence. Correct? That's what I meant to say. Please post doubt when I ask you to, or you can post them on continuous basis. I will take them when I take a break from my flow. Definitely you can ask doubts in the live class. Don't feel offended. And so as I said, majority of time these numbers will be switched off. Okay. In fact, right now also it is switched off. So please try between 7 to 7:30 only. CA deemed to be in practice can train one article, but will there be any requirement that he need to Mr. Nand Kishore, please, uh, please again count. It is 10 digit only. My mobile number, so okay, it is not 11 numbers. This is not 1. This is oblique. Okay. Uh, Definitely you see, there is no we are not going to the procedural parts. We are not going to procedural parts or forms. Okay, definitely there will be articleship registration form which need to be filled up. Only articleship registration form need to be filled up, and in which we need to give details of this employee who is working with us and is having adequate experience of 3 years or more, and he can train one article. Definitely in forms we need to mention which is that particular employee under whom one article is getting registered. Okay. Now let's see. Now guys, there's a complete list, and there's a huge list. There's a complete list and huge list on what do you mean by what are the activities included. What are the activities included management in management consultancy services? Okay. Now what students generally do, students generally read this list once. One time they are going to read this list, and they read it once, twice, and then it's up to chance. If they remember, they will solve the case study. If they don't remember, they will not be able to solve the case study. So what I have done, we have devised a way, we have devised a way, we have devised a way, we have devised a technique. We have devised a way, we have devised a technique to remember all these. Let's see one by one. What we have done, we have arranged it in a logical sequence. In a logical sequence. Now, what is this logical sequence? Just think about it. What are the different services a company is going to need from the inception till the end? Just think about it, and you will get and will be able to remember the whole list. Now, prior to incorporation, company is going to need services of project reports, feasibility studies. They will need professionals who can make project reports, who can make feasibility studies. That is covered in MCS. Okay. Then, so providing feasibility studies, providing project reports is covered in management consultancy services. Then after incorporation, first thing any company is going to do is to raise money. For raising money, they need to decide what will be capital structure. What will be capital structure? So, helping company in deciding capital structure, that is part of MCS. Helping company to raise money, that is part of MCS. acting as an advisor, to public issue. When they want to raise money through public issue, acting as an advisor, that is covered in MCS. Acting as a registrar to issue in case of IPOs and FPOs, again that is covered in MCS. When we talk about acting as advisor, you can help company in making the prospectus, doing publicity of the issue, you can help in selecting the agents, brokers who will work in the issue. You can help in post-issue matters of giving shares, allotting shares, etc. So all this will be covered in MCS. So activities related to fundraising like deciding capital structure, helping in fundraising, helping in IPO, FPO, working as a registrar, all this thing will covered in MCS. So it's beautifully drafted, beautifully logically drafted in a sequence, and this sequence is going to be extremely important. Before incorporation, we have services that is covered in MCS. After incorporation, there is fundraising related services are covered in MCS. Once you get money, you will do planning for the business activities. You will do planning related activity. So you can help in framing business policy, framing the business policies, which particular sector we are going to target, which businesses we are going to start first, and then how we are going to diversify and expand that business policy. Chartered accountants can help in doing corporate planning. How many holding companies will be there, ultimate holding companies will be there, subsidiaries will be there, associates will be there, that corporate planning, organization development plan, how many departments, so overall business policy, then corporate planning, then organization development plan, how many departments will be there. Then once everything is done, chartered accountants can make budgets, capital budgets, revenue budgets, cash budgets. See, it's all connected. If you study in this flow, you will remember quickly. You will remember things quickly. Very fast you will remember things. Then, after this, staffing. We can help in staffing. That's very important. See, I have put star marks on the activities which are extremely important from exam point of view. From exam point of view, personal recruitment. Chartered accountants can help in recruiting. Chartered accountants can help in recruiting employees. They can take interviews. Evaluate people, their skill sets. Yes, that is allowed. After recruitment, they can help in training people. That's called development of human resource. They can help in building organization structure, hierarchy in the organization, who is going to report to which particular person, and then who they are going to report, and so on. So they can make a complete structure, hierarchical organization structure, reporting structure, authority structure. Then when people work, how they should be paid. They can help in making incentive plans. They can help in recruiting people, then developing them, then creating structure for them, then creative incentive plans for them. Then they can help. See, production is work of engineers. We cannot directly, after all these things, we cannot directly help in production, but we can definitely help in working capital. What you need, most important thing in any production activity is working capital. So we can help in working capital management, how to reduce the quantum of stock, debtors, how to do business activity in least possible working capital. We can help in inventory, working capital management, in that inventory management, handling storage. We can maintain cost records. We can maintain cost records. We can do management accounting. After maintaining that, with the help of that, we can do cost control. We can help in maintaining management accounting, MIS. With the help of that, we can give cost control. We can do value analysis and improve efficiency. We can do value analysis and improve efficiency of the activities. So that's fantastic. MCS covers pre-incorporation activity. Then it covers fundraising related activities. Then it covers planning related activities. Then it covers staffing related activities. Then it covers working capital related activities. See, this is a memory technique. We are grouping things. We have grouped it into small parts. Now let's remember the groups, and then remember activities given in the group. This will make things very easy to remember. Then, so prior to incorporation is done, after that fundraising is done, after that planning is done, after that staffing is done, after that working capital, and cost related activities are done. Now the product is ready. Product is ready. We can help in pricing. We can do market research. We can do market related and demand related research activities, and we can help in determining the prices and price related decisions on how should be the discounts, what should be the schemes. Then once we sell the goods, we can help in recovery also. We cannot become recovery agents. We cannot become recovery agent. No, that is not allowed. But we can become recovery consultants. We can become recovery consultants, and that too in banking sector. We can become recovery consultants in banking sector, guys. Now that's interesting. Only in banking sector. That means we can give them consultancy. If you want to recover this loan, okay, reduce amount of EMI. We can restructure the loans. We can ask them to give additional amount so that business works properly. Cash is generated and it is used for repayment. So we can act as a consultant. We cannot go with gundas. Take gundas and go and recover the money. We cannot go with the goons. Correct? That is not allowed. So we can help in pricing, then recovery also, then making statements. Yes, we can make profitability statement, not accounting. In MCS we cannot do accounting, but we can make profitability statements, fund flow statements, a profitability statement. What is the per unit profitability, per employee profitability, per factory profitability, per sales executive profitability, and so on. We can make profitability statements. We can make fund flow statements, cash flow statements. Then after earning money, we can help in money management and investment, and then valuation. Yes, we can help in financial management policies. We can help in financial management policy, how company should manage its finance. We can help in that. We can help in investment. We can do investment counseling. Now that's extremely important. We can help in investment counseling. We can help in investment counseling. We can give investment advisory. You should invest in short-term funds. You should invest in liquid funds, arbitrage funds. Just a minute, guys. Just a minute. Okay. Now, that's very interesting. We can help in investment counseling. Guys, we can help in investment counseling. Just a minute, guys. There's some. Okay. Now we're back. We can do investment counseling. We can give advisory. Invest in balance funds, which mutual fund schemes, and so on. But very interesting. We cannot, this is a very famous question. We cannot do broking. We cannot become brokers. We cannot become brokers of NSE, BSE, or any other stock exchange. We cannot become brokers. Not allowed. Not allowed. We cannot become brokers. We cannot provide underwriting services. We cannot do portfolio management. We cannot give portfolio management services also. No portfolio management services. Even that is not allowed. It has been asked again and again so many times. It has been asked again and again so many times. Chartered accountants in practice, it is not covered in MCS. Chartered accountants in practice can give advisory. They cannot go for broking. They cannot go for underwriting. They cannot go for portfolio management. Then some of you must be thinking, why the hell we are being taught portfolio management? Those who are in practice, they cannot do it. You don't take COP. Don't take COP. Don't take COP. You can go for broking. You can go for underwriting. You can go for portfolio management. No problem at all. Are you getting this point? So after earning money, we can go for investment counseling. We can also help. We can also help in valuation of shares. That's valuation of shares, amalgamations and merger. Once you have money, if you want to buy shares, we can help in valuation also. We can help in amalgamation merger also. Then, that's very interesting. We can do special audits. Special audits are covered in MCS. That means these audits can be done in corporate form. Management audit can be done, operational audit can be done, quality audit can be done, energy audit can be done, environment audit can be done. Statutory audits and periodical audits, statutory audits like company audit, tax audit, and earlier we had GST audit. That cannot be done. That cannot be done in corporate form. That cannot be covered. That is not covered in MCS and corporate form. Okay. But these audits can be done. Management audits, operation audit, quality audit, energy audit, environment audit. These audits can be done. They are covered in MCS. They can be done in corporate form. So these things are very simple. These are covered in MCS and they can be done in corporate form. That's the most important part of the MCS, that it can be done in corporate form. Then apart from that, system and insurance related activities. System and insurance related activities can be done in corporate form. It's absolutely fine. System analysis can be done. Insurance financial advisory. You cannot become life insurance agent. That is not allowed. You cannot become life insurance agent. You cannot become Health insurance agent. No, 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 no. You can give insurance financial advisory. Sir, what is that? Insurance financial advisory can be done in corporate form. Insurance financial advisory can be done in corporate form. Yes. You have to make a company, take a license, and then you have to do insurance advisory. This service is given by making a company, and you give it to big corporates, and you need a separate license for that. See, I'm collecting all the points. It's very simple. We can do pre-incorporation related activities, we can do fund related activities, we can do planning activities, we can do staffing activities, we can do working capital management related activities, we can do pricing related activities, we can do recovery related activities, we can make statements after earning money, we can do money management, then we can do special audits, and then we can do system and insurance. This is the best way to remember this big list. Okay. Now further, one more point. As I said earlier, you cannot give tax consultancy services. That is not allowed. You cannot give tax consultancy services in MCS. But if your main intention is to give financial services, you can cover the tax point of view. That is allowed. That is allowed. Tax advisory is allowed in four things. If you are framing, if initially you are framing you are making project reports, while making project reports, you can explain tax related points also. It is allowed. While making capital structuring advisory, you can include tax related points. It is allowed. Because this advice will not be complete without tax advisory. So, see, complete tax advisory is not covered in MCS. No. But then, along with feasibility, you can explain related tax points. Along with capital structure, you can explain related tax points. Then, along with financial management policy, you can explain tax related points. Along with working capital, you can explain tax related points. In notes, you can see that we have given it hashtag. Now, content in brown is recently added. We can provide administrative services. What is that? Now clients need a lot of services. In the sense, client needs someone who can maintain all the Word documents and Excel documents. So we can, administrative services means management services. Administrative services means supporting services, management services can be given. That means we can maintain the Word and Excel files. We can maintain Word and Excel files. On the base of that files, we can fill up we can prepare administrative or statutory forms. We can maintain files. On that basis, we can prepare the forms. After preparing forms, then we can help in filing also. We can monitor the dates when filing need to be done, advising the client how filing need to be done. So we can help We can help in monitoring the dates and advisory. We can help in submitting such forms. So we can help give services like GST practitioner. We can maintain the Word and Excel files. We can prepare forms and returns for them. We can monitor the filing dates, then submit those forms. We can help like GST practitioner. Just like GST practitioner does a lot of things with related to GST, such kind of things only. We can help in that also. So chartered accountant in practice can give administrative services in the name of management consultancy services. We can go for valuation of shares. Now that's a very lucrative area, and this area is people are earning a lot of money nowadays in this valuation of shares. You, after becoming chartered accountant, you can clear the exams of valuation. Valuation related exam is conducted, clear that exam, become a registered valuer, and become a registered valuer. And whenever companies issuing shares or dealing in shares, many a times they need valuation certificate. You can give valuation certificate. MCS includes valuations, giving valuations services. MCS include insolvency professional. MCS include giving insolvency services also. That is covered in MCS. So MCS covered all these things, and lastly it covers three things: administrative services, valuation of shares, and insolvency services also. Whatever is covered in MCS, that can be given by practicing chartered accountants. Whatever is not covered, that cannot be given by practicing chartered accountants. Those who are not having COP can do anything. Those who are not having COP can do other activities. For example, I'm clearing a doubt. I'm clearing a doubt. Okay. Practicing chartered accountant can do investment advisory. He cannot do broking, portfolio management, underwriting. Yes, non-practicing chartered accountant can go for broking, he can go for portfolio management services, he can go for underwriting. Non-practicing chartered accountant, I'm saying. Okay. I hope this is clear. If you got any doubt, please post it right now. Please post it. Okay, guys, we are going to take a break of 5-10 minutes, and then we'll be back with the remaining part. It's going to be very interesting. Okay guys, we are back. Now we are through with, we studied the very wonderful concept of members deemed to be in practice. Section 2, subsection 2, and the last thing which we studied was wonderful, and that was management consultancy services. It's very important because it brings deeming fiction and it defines what practicing chartered accountants can do and what they cannot do. Now next is not very important guys, just quickly take an overview. See we are going in a sequence. Now section 3. Section 3 is a happy birthday section. And section 3 says that an entity will be created and that will be Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So ICAI is created as per requirement of section 3. And its members will be called as chartered accountants. There's a happy birthday section. CA Institute is created in that particular section. Not very important from exam point of view. It's very simple to understand whether any section is important or not. If you find that there is a question number given to it, then it's important. See, there's a question number given to it, that's important. MCQ number given to it, that's important. And apart from that, even if there's no question, if I think that's important, I will tell it to you. Now we have section 4. Section 4 tells us who can become member of CA Institute. Who can become member of CA Institute? Now guys, who can become member? It's very simple, straightforward. Who can become member of CA Institute? Okay. Now, person who has passed examinations prescribed by ICAI and completed his training articleship. He can become member. Then there's one more route. There's one more way of becoming chartered accountant. Person who has passed examination and done the training without India. As I said guys, this is a very old English. This is a very old law. 1949, it's a very old law. Lot of old English words are used here. Without India means outside India. Without India simply means outside India. Okay. Well, so it is, we are going to study about it later, more about it later. But a very simple thing. So there was a concept earlier. If you become a chartered accountant in some specified countries, you can automatically become eligible to enroll as a member in India. Yes, there was concept of direct membership. Many years back. There was a concept. Now it is not right now. It is not there right now. So in past, many years back, they provided the list. If you become member of these institute, automatically you can become member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Now the concept is MOU or MRA, Mutual Memorandum of Understanding, or MRA, Mutual Recognition Agreement. Under this agreement, person from foreign institutes, so first go and take qualification of foreign institute, then come to India, appear for 4 papers, and you can become chartered accountant in India also. So yes, there is one more way of becoming chartered accountant. First become member of the foreign professional institute, and then come to India, appear for 4 paper, become member here also. Okay, so there are 2 ways of becoming member. One is the direct way, which you are using, which I use, which everyone uses. There is one indirect way also. But for this, you'll have to study those MRA, mutual recognition agreement, carefully. If that MRA is only for non-residents, it's only for non-residents, correct? Then you need to first become non-resident, then become member of the foreign institute, then come to India, appear for the 4 papers, and then become CA here. Okay. So you have to do research in that. I'll be happy if someone does research, and but they will have to read all the MRAs. Correct. Now then, membership fee, it should not exceed 3,000. Fine. It should not exceed 3,000. If they take permission from government, it can go up to 6,000. That's not very important. Then we have section number 5. As soon as any person clears his exams, done his articleship, applies for membership, as soon as any person becomes chartered accountant, he will be called as associate member of the institute. Associate member of the institute. Associate means he is like a junior member of ICAI. Junior member of ICAI. Then once he completes 5 years, in practice, he can apply to become a senior member, that is fellow member. He can apply to become FCA. You do not become FCA automatically. No, you have to apply for it. And the fees can be 5,000, should not exceed 5,000. And with permission, maximum fees can go up to 10,000. Again, that's not very important. The interesting thing is, junior members are called associate members, and senior members are called FCs, fellow members. Correct? So this is done so that people can understand whether he is a senior member or not. Senior members are given more respect, they have more knowledge, experience, they are given more work also. Now, who can apply for senior membership? So it's very simple. Who can apply for it? A person who is in continuous practice in India. A person who has done continuous practice in India for at least 5 years. It's very simple. So, person who has done practice in India for 5 years, he can apply to become senior member. He can apply to become FCA. Okay. Apart from that, now, a chartered accountant who is just an associate, not in practice. So this is basically for chartered accountant who are in employment. Yes. Those who are in practice, continuous practice in India for 5 years or more, they can apply for it. Now, chartered accountants who are not in practice, correct? Those who are into employment, they can also apply for it. Again, they should have experience of 5 years. They should be associate members for 5 years or more, and they will need qualification and experience as prescribed by council from time to time to ensure that their experience is similar to chartered accountants who are in practice. It's very simple. those who are continuously in practice in India for 5 years, they can apply for it. Foreign practice will not be counted. Foreign practice, if you are practicing outside India, that will not be counted. That will not be counted. Okay. And those associate members who are not in practice, but they are continuously associate members for 5 years or more, plus they are having qualification and experience as required by ICI to prove that their experience and knowledge is equivalent to person who is in practice for 5 years, even then they can apply. So the point is, practicing chartered accountants can also apply to become FCA, and those who are not in practice, they can also apply for FCA. But those who are not in practice, they will have to fulfill additional requirements to show that they have good experience. To implement above, in December 2014, to implement above, so those who are FCA, they can write FCA after their name to show that they are a fellow chartered, after their name FCA to know that they are fellow chartered accountants. In December 2014, ICI clarified. ICI said that okay, those CAs who are working in government, those chartered accountants who are doing job in government or commercial entity or governments, statutory authorities, local bodies or commercial entities in the field of our subjects, accounts, costing, tax law, information technology, etc., for 5 years or more, they can apply for FCA. Plus, even if you are not, now this is the case. Plus, if you are doing job of 5 years or more under CA or CA firm, you can apply for FCA. We will not even see the areas in which you are working, because it is understood CA firms work in this area. So if you are working in other organization, we will see the area in which you are working. Is it accounts, costing, tax, law, information technology? Then fine. In case of CA firm, we will not see the area also. It's absolutely fine. It's absolutely fine in whichever area you work in CA firm. It is understood that you are having sufficient experience. Now, information in green is generally my comments. Therefore, only knowledge. Even if there is a break of 1 year, it can be condoned. Condoned means institute will accept it. No problem. Institute will still consider that it is continuous. Even if there is a break of 1 year in between, it can be condoned. Institute will accept it. Experience can be partly in practice and partly in job as specified above. No problem. Even that is allowed. That's wonderful. That's beautiful. So that was section 5. I think that's a medium importance, not extremely important, not less important. Now we have section 6. See, so many questions are there. See section 6, so many questions. 655.100, 655.200, 655.300. There are 3 questions asked. That becomes very extremely important. Extremely important. What it says? Section 6 says that if any chartered accountant wants to do practice, he will have to first take COP, then only he can go for practice. So that means people who are doing accounting work, audit work, tax costing, finance work or MCS work without practice, they are not complying with section 6. They are contravening section 6. There's a non-compliance of section 6. They will be punished for this. Plus, deeming fiction will be applied on them. They will be deemed to be in practice. And full professional ethics will get applicable to them. So there will be non-compliance of section 6. They will be punished for that. Plus, deeming fiction will be applied on them, so that all the provisions of CA Act of professional ethics will get applicable to them. Okay. Now, Code of Ethics of the Institute is applicable to all members, even outside India. Even outside India. So even if he has to practice outside India, he should take COP from ICA. Yes. But sir, if he is practicing US, he will need certificate of practice from the US institute. Yes, I fully agree with that. So if he wants to do practice outside India, he will need COP from ICAI also, and he will need COP from the US institute also. But sir, in this case, there may be conflicts. US institute may say that you need only one COP. Then what? Yes, conflicts can arise. As per this section and as per Code of Ethics, which we follow, you practice in India, you need COP. You practice outside India, you need COP. But then, when you talk about outside India, foreign laws are applicable outside India. Sometimes there can be conflict between the Indian law and the foreign law. Then what to do in this case? Legal advice need to be taken. You can take legal advice from the CA. You can ask CA Institute what to do. They will clarify. His duties outside India will be governed by law concerning country. If there is a conflict, he should get clarity from ICI. If there is any conflict, get clarity from ICI what to be done. Clarify, ICI will tell what needs to be done. And as I said, it's a very old law. ICI clarification are much more important than the section and the rules and regulations, because it is an old law. It needs to be changed. It needs to be revived. Correct. But they have not done it. Now we have a very, very interesting case study. It has been asked. Now all these questions, 655.100, 200, 300, they are based on this case study. It's very simple. It's very, very simple, very interesting. Okay, let me take someone as example. Whom should I take example? Okay, I will take if you want me to take you as an example, you can put it on the chat. Okay, there's so many people. Take my example. Now, okay, let's take Shubham as example. Shubham as example. So we have Shubham. Shubham is a advocate. So Shubham completed completed his uh, LLB. He became advocate, and he was after becoming advocate, he is doing tax practice. He is doing tax practice, and he was extremely happy. So he had, yeah, there are many advocates. Advocates understand the law well. They understand the income tax law and they practice in income tax law. So he became advocate and he became income tax practitioner. So Shubham is an income tax practitioner. Now, after doing all this, someone suggested him, see, you can give more services to the client. You can give more services to the client if you become chartered accountant. If you become chartered accountant, you can give more services. So Shubham works hard and now he clears CA exams. He clears CA exams. He takes COP from ICAI and now he is giving services. Now he is giving services as a chartered accountant. That's very interesting. He is giving services as chartered accountant. Everything was going good. Okay. Now he is doing income tax practice and other things as a chartered accountant. He is getting more recognition from the market. There are more clients and so on. But what happened? He gets involved in misconduct. While doing practice, he does misconduct, means activities which are considered unethical, incorrect, inappropriate, misconduct. While doing practice, he is involved in misconduct. And earlier, not now, earlier the cases of misconduct used to go to High Court. Used to go to High Court. Now he goes to High Court and his COP is suspended for 6 months. Now cases don't go to High Court. They go to, we are going to see, they go to various authorities within the CA Institute. Various authorities within the CA Institute, they go to them. And his COP is suspended for 6 months. COP is suspended for 6 months. Now that's very interesting. You must have heard these news nowadays. COP suspended for 3 months, 7 days, 1 year, 2 year, 3 years. These news are very common nowadays. That certificate of practice. So that means he cannot do practice. But Shubham is very intelligent. Shubham is extremely intelligent. Shubham writes a letter to the CA Institute. That, dear CA Institute, before becoming chartered accountant, I was an advocate. Before becoming chartered accountant, I was an advocate. I used to practice as an advocate. So, let me do practice as an advocate. I will practice as an advocate. I will put name board of advocate, visiting card of advocate, letterhead of advocate. Everywhere I will put my name as an advocate and let me do practice as advocate. So, very interesting thing. Let me do practice as advocate. So now this matter was in front of the CA Institute. What to do? Should we allow him to do practice as an advocate? Now if we allow him to do practice as an advocate, that means That means suspension of the COP is not having any impact. We are suspending COP, that is not having any impact. He will not be facing any punishment. People will use other professional capacities to do the work. Someone will say that I want to do tax consultancy as an advocate, company law consultancy as a company secretary, cost consultancy as a CWA, and so on. CA Institute said that once you become member of CA Institute, once you become member of CA Institute, once you become a chartered accountant, you are bound by rules and regulation of the CA Institute. You are bound by rules and regulation of the CA Institute. And you can do CA related work. Now, what do you mean by CA related work? We have seen list of activities in member deemed to be in practice: accounting, auditing, tax, costing, finance, and management consultancy. You can do all this work. You can do all this work only in capacity of a chartered accountant after taking COP. Only in capacity of as a chartered accountant after taking COP. That means you cannot do this work in the name of advocacy, in capacity of an advocate or any other capacity. That's very interesting. Once you become a chartered accountant, you become member of ICAI. You become member of ICAI. You are governed by rules. You are governed by rules and regulations of ICAI. Now you can do CA related work, CA related activities only after taking COP. Only after taking COP from ICAI. You cannot do this work in other professional capacities. You cannot use other professional capacities to do CA work. No, not allowed. So he cannot do practice. Now, similar case, so this case has been asked many times. Now, similar case was asked by CA. CA Institute has asked this case also. And they have drafted similar case for GST practice. That a person wants to do GST practice even without COP, because you don't need any special permission to give GST advisory or to file GST returns. So person said that let me do GST practice without COP. Now listen guys, again the answer is no. You can do CA related work of accounts, audit, tax only in one capacity, and that is professional capacity of a chartered accountant. You cannot use other professional capacities. That's simple. But ICAI gave wrong answer in suggested answers. ICAI gave wrong answer in suggested answers. As soon as we saw that, we sent a mail to them, Board of Studies, that listen, this answer is inappropriate. This is not done. This is not acceptable. How can we change? How can we change this very important interpretation? How can we change it? How can that be changed? And CA Institute accepted it, and they changed the suggested answer. They changed the suggested answer. In our question bank, we have explained the complete case, how it happened. So keep in mind, as on today, correct, you cannot use other professional capacities. Even if there is a temporary removal from membership, you cannot you are even if they're temporary removed from membership, still you are governed. Still you are governed by CA Act, its rules and regulations. You cannot do practice. If there is a permanent removal, if you are permanently removed from the membership, that means you are no longer a chartered accountant, then CA Act is not applicable to you. Then CA Act is not applicable to you. You can do whatever you want because you are no longer a chartered accountant. So if there is COP suspension, CA Act is applicable. You cannot do practice. If there is a temporary removal from membership, CA Act is applicable. You cannot do practice. Permanent removal, do whatever you want to do. Absolutely fine. So it is a text of the same thing. We cannot use other capacities. We have seen this. If you got any questions, you can post it. If you got any questions, you can post it. There is some common services between CS, CA. So there is misconduct, then in which law person is punishable. See, we don't know what company secretary, personally speaking, I don't know what professional ethics of company secretary says. They need not be same. Professional ethics and CS, professional ethics and CS Act may not be same. And I am not expert of what CS says or what CWS says or what Bar Council says. I am not expert of that. Okay. But we are expert of CA Act. If you want to do CA related work, you need COP. Simple. Very simple. Okay. If there is a conflict, if there is any conflict, ask CA Institute, put a mail to them and ask them, take the advice from them how to resolve the conflict. Correct? Not at all important from exam point of view. Okay, I hope you are clear about this. Now, very simple case, very interesting one. So we take Darsh in the example. Darsh is a chartered accountant. He is working as an employee. He is working as an employee for a company, big company. He is computing tax for the company, he is making returns, filing returns. He is also representing the company in income tax department. He is doing a lot of tax related work. Will he need COP? Will Darsh need COP? He is doing a lot of tax related work for his company as an employee. Will he need COP? No. Correct. Of course, no. You're not going to need COP. Correct. I'm getting answers, a lot of answers. Guys, be active. You can give a lot of answers that will, keep answering these small questions that will keep you active also and keep you involved also. Answer is definitely no, because you are working as an employee. When you are working as an employee, you are working in employee capacity. You don't need COP. But if Darsh, same Darsh, after office hours, he makes and files returns for his colleagues, for his friends, for his family. He makes the returns, he makes returns, he files the returns, he get refund for the people, he gives financial advisory. Now he is not working for company, he is working for outsiders, others. Will he need COP? Will he need COP? Correct. Yes, he will need COP. He will need COP. If you're doing practice, you're helping, you're making that, definitely you're doing it for money remuneration. We are assuming that he will definitely need COP. You're working for company as an employee, working as as an employee, you will not need COP. You're working for others, staff members, everyone else you are working, giving them services, you will need COP. What is the concept of dual COP? Can a person have two COPs? COP of CA Institute and COP of Bar Council of India? Now listen, dual COP is generally not allowed. Person generally cannot have dual COP. He cannot have COP of CA Institute and CS Institute, CA Institute and CW Institute. You can only have one COP. Generally speaking, you can only and only have one COP. Then sir, why people do CA, CS and CWA everything? Just to have more options in life. It proves their caliber. Why people take more degrees? Why people do CA, CS? It proves their caliber. So some people may say that it proves their caliber. It proves their caliber, their knowledge. So some people take these extra degrees to show their knowledge. Correct? And then it gives more option to them. If anytime they want to switch from CA to CS, CS to CWA or vice versa, generally people don't shift. People are happy with chartered accountancy. They don't shift to CS or CWA. They have more options with them. It's for knowledge purpose, it's for status purpose, and it's for options also. Now listen, CA Institute has allowed dual COP with Bar Council of India. CA Institute says that, okay, listen, you can take COP from us, ICI, you can take COP from Bar Council also. See, basically what happens in tax, after one level, dispute goes to the court. And in court, only advocates can fight the case. So CA Institute said that, okay, you become an advocate also. So in your CA office, you work as a chartered accountant. And when case goes to court, you work as advocate. So have both the benefits. Just for the benefit of members, CA Institute said that, okay, dual COP is allowed. You can take our COP and Bar Council of India COP also. They allowed it. But keep one thing in mind, two designations should not come together. When you are working as a chartered accountant in your office, on letterhead everywhere you should put chartered accountant. When you are working as a lawyer, advocate, on your letterhead, visiting card, everywhere you should put your designation as advocate. Don't put both the designation together. Keep it separate, so that people should not be confused. And people should not be confused, and people should not make opinion about you. Okay, you are not a pure lawyer, you are a CA lawyer. So only put advocate. So don't use it together. Don't use it together. Keep them separate. But practically problem is, Bar Council of India has not allowed this dual COP. See, if dual COP has to be successful, permission need to be given by the ICI also and other institute also. Then only dual COP will become successful. But the other institute has not allowed it. So as on today, the concept of dual COP, even though permissions are given, it is not practical. You cannot practically implement it. Okay. I hope you are aware about it. I hope you got the point. Guys, if you got any doubt, you can ask me. If you want, you can raise your hand also. You can raise your hand and you can ask a oral doubt also to me. Summarize. What to summarize? Please let me know. What to summarize? Whole lecture? Last point. We have studied the last point. It's very simple, straightforward. You need COP to do practice. You can use only professional capacity of chartered accountant. You cannot use other professional capacities. When you work as an employee, you don't need COP. When you work for others, you need COP. And the last point, dual COP is generally not allowed. It is allowed with advocates. It is allowed with advocates. Okay. But then, Bar Council of India has not allowed it. So it's not practical. So it is not practical. And even if it get allowed, and even it get allowed, don't use both the designation together. I hope that is clear. Once a person surrenders COP of CA, can he regain it? Of course. Chartered accountant can surrender COP anytime he wants, and he can again get the COP anytime he wants. Yes, you can do that. No problem at all. No problem at all. You can writing CA, CMA and CS is a different thing. Taking COP is a different thing. Listen, taking COP is a different thing altogether, and writing designation as COP is different. I hope this point is clear to you. These two are two different things. And we are going to study about this. Writing that I am a CA, CS, CWA is a different thing. We are going to study about this right now. The next topic we are going to study about this. Section 7 about the prefix and what you can write. Is there any limit on how many times can CA surrender COP? There is no limit about it. There is no limit about it. You can surrender COP any number of times you want, and you can take it from institute any number of time you want. But don't make it painful for them. Don't make it bad for them. Don't make it painful for them. Okay. Now, let's go ahead. Let's see the interesting part. Let's see the interesting part. Okay. First, we see cancellation and restoration. Cancellation and restoration of COP. Can it get cancelled? Is it possible that? Can it get cancelled? Let's see. So we have regulation 10 which says that yes, it can get cancelled. So regulation 10 of ICI regulation says that it can get cancelled. Okay. Now, What are the reasons when it can get cancelled? So we have arranged it again beautifully. We have arranged it in a sequence. We have arranged it in a sequence. Okay. Now, let's understand. So COP can be cancelled if, most important thing, name of the person is removed from the register of members. If you are no longer a chartered accountant, if you are no longer a chartered accountant, okay, then how can you continue to have COP? The biggest thing, if any chartered accountant has lost his membership because of any reason, his COP will get cancelled. Then next thing, if COP was obtained by giving incorrect information, factually incorrect information, misleading, false information, that is again bad. Cancellation of membership is extremely bad. Giving wrong information is also bad only. Again, COP will get cancelled. Then every chartered accountant has to pay annual fees for COP by 30th of September. Every year he has to pay by 30th of September. If you're not paying it, again COP will be cancelled. Once COP is cancelled, you cannot put signatures, you cannot train articles. And if he cease to do practice, if he surrenders his COP, again, so this is in a sequence. Worst thing is removal of membership. Then the next thing is lesser than that, wrong information. Less than that, not paid the annual thing. And then cease to practice, surrender. See, what about restoration? Now you can restore, you can make an application. You can make an application to the CA Institute under Regulation 11. Under Regulation 11, you can make the application. You can explain that all the reasons for cancellation of COP are now removed. We have removed all the negative reasons. We have removed all the negative reasons. Though there is no reason to cancel the COP, please restore it. If you prove that you got their membership back, if you prove that you prove that you didn't submit wrong information, if you pay the annual fees, you again ask for COP, COP can be restored. So you put an application, explain that negative reasons are now over, the reasons for cancellation are no longer exist, they have been managed, they have been managed, you can get back your COP. You will get the COP from the date you apply for it. Okay, if you apply after 2 years, you will get COP from 2 years. You apply for 3 years, you will get COP from 3 years, and so on. This is a very interesting thing. See, very interesting, and I find it's extremely important from exam point of view. So we have, say, April 21, we have financial year 21-22. It is till 31st of March 22. So all the chartered accountants have to pay their membership fee in COP fees for the financial year 21-22 by 30th of September 2021. So you have to pay for the year within first 6 months. You can say that you have to pay for the financial year within 6 months. That's fine, that's reasonable. CA Institute is giving you 6 months. Pay it. If you don't pay it, then say CA Institute has the option when to cancel it. When to cancel it. They have right to, you have not paid it, now they have right to cancel it. Suppose they cancelled it on 31st of October. They cancelled it on 31st of October 2021. Now there is a golden opportunity. Chartered accountant, there is a golden opportunity. Chartered accountant can pay the fees by 31st of March 2022, before the financial year comes to an end, and his COP will be restored. His COP will be restored from the date it got cancelled. So it will be restored from 31st of October. Because of this, there will not be any gap. There will not be any gap. You will be, the person will be in continuous practice. There will not be any gap in it. That's a wonderful thing. So if the cancellation is happening, has happened because of non-payment of the COP fees, then in that case, you can pay the COP fees before financial year comes to an end and restore your COP from the date of cancellation, so that there is no time gap in between. Okay. So we are through with, now we are studying a very, very interesting concept. Extremely important concept. Very interesting and very, very important concept. And that is section 7. See, we are studying in a sequence. We have seen background of professional ethics. We saw section 1 applicability, section 2 definition, members deemed to practice, section 3 happy birthday, section 4 who can become member. So there is one simple Indian route and there is one foreign route also. Section 5 about associate chartered accountants and fellow chartered accountants, that is junior and seniors. Then we have section 7. Section 6, that is COP is important and you can use only one capacity, that is of chartered accountant. Then we have seen sections, now we are seeing very interesting. Section 7. It talks about 3 things, extremely important. But sir, we don't see questions here. These questions are covered later with some other topic. I will explain it with clause number 7, because when it comes to designation, section 7 is also applicable, and we are going to study one more clause. Clause 7 is also applicable. So all the questions are covered with that clause 7. That's why you don't see question numbers here. It's extremely important. It talks about 3 things. What prefix chartered accountants can use, what designation chartered accountants can use, and what other descriptions or letters chartered accountants can use. 3 extremely important things. Now let's understand. What are they. So when I write CA Ravi Taori, okay, so CA is my prefix which is fixed before the name. Chartered accountant is designation, and below that whatever I write is other description and letters. Okay. I hope this is pretty clear. There are 3 things involved. And this is definitely name. Okay. I don't need to tell that this is what you write before name is prefix. What you write below name is designation, and everything else you write after that is other description and letters. Okay. So we have section 7 and ICI clarifications. ICI clarifications regarding all these things, all these three things. So Darsh is saying, sir, why don't you write CFA? I've cleared 2 levels of my CFA. Why don't you write that under? So we'll discuss that. I cannot write CFA. We'll discuss about that also. Now, let's understand. Let's understand. So, who can write prefix chart accountant? As soon as any person becomes member of the CA Institute, he gets membership of the CA Institute. Membership of the CA Institute, then irrespective of whether he is in practice or not, everyone can write CA in front of their name. Everyone can write it. And I know that that is one of the most important things and dream of your life. And that's very dear and it's very important. And that's very, it's something for which you are putting all your efforts. Okay. I have lived, I've gone through, all of us, chart account have gone through that phase and we got those 2 letters for ourselves. So, as soon as you become members, but that's very important. First, clear the exams, computer articleship, apply for membership. After getting membership number, then you can write CA. Okay, that is allowed. Usage is allowed by all the chart account within practice or not. What if a person is doctor also? I'm not talking doctor from medical side. Doctor, the person who has the person who is having a PhD. Okay, PhD. He is expert in a particular topic and he applied for PhD. He got the PhD. That's then they also PhD holders. They also write Doctor Dr. So if a person is a chartered accountant also, and he is a PhD holder also, doctorate also, then what will you do? CA Institute has clarified. You can write doctor also. You can write Doctor CA or CA Doctor in any sequence or any combination. You can write that. That's absolutely fine. You can write doctor, no problem at all. So, but what is not allowed? And CA Institute has clarified this. Many students they use CA prefix even before becoming chartered accountant. Student makes social media handles, email IDs, and they write CA as a prefix before that. They use prefix as CA before that, so that is not allowed. Till the time you don't get membership, don't use prefix as chartered accountant. That's a very important prefix. It should be valued. It should be valued. You cannot just put it anywhere you want, anytime you want. It should be done only after obtaining membership. Once you obtain membership, you can write it. So the day you become chartered accountant, the day you become chartered accountant, okay? Technically I am saying, you cannot write CA and your name, because on that day you have cleared the exam, you are yet to get the membership number. Okay, technically, but then in heart you will definitely write CA on that day, and I will say that you should write CA. That's absolutely fine. CA Institute is not having problem with that. CA Institute is having problem. CA Institute is having problem with people who are using social media handles with CA even before getting membership. They are having problem with that, and they are correct in their approach. Now, next we are talking about designation. Next we are talking about designation. That's very interesting. What you can write just below your name. If you are CA in practice, you have to write just below your name which describes your profession. You have to write words which describe your profession just below your name. You have to write only chartered accountant. Only chartered accountant. No addition, no deletion, no substitution, no modification. Cut this particular part. We'll discuss about it later. We'll discuss about it later in other description and letters. No addition, no deletion, no substitution, no modification. You cannot write rank holder chart accountant, number one chart accountant, top chart accountant. You cannot write only chartered. You cannot write professional accountant. No addition, no deletion, no substitution, no modification. You cannot write CHACS, only CH and AC. Nowadays they're short form. I'm CHACS, chart accountant. You cannot do such nonsense things. No addition, no deletion, only chart accountant, only it is allowed. If the person is not in practice, he has option 1, option 2. He has option number 1, simply go and use chart accountant as designation. Simply go and use chartered accountant as designation. Simply use that. Okay. Option number, and then nothing else. Cannot change. Nothing else. Option number 2, don't use chart accountant as designation. Then he is free to use any other designation. Free to use any other designation as you want. Any other designation as you want, no problem at all. Okay. We have already studied that modification is not allowed. Modification is not allowed. Industrial accountant. Just a minute, guys. Okay, we are back. Now, there's a very, you cannot write industrial accountant, corporate accountant, first attempt accountant, income tax consultant, cost accountant. No, no, company secretary. No, no, no. You cannot write all these things. Okay. Okay. In fact, now, there's a very, you cannot write in the. Okay. Now, there's a very interesting case. It was asked in exams, and I think we were the only professor that time when it was asked first time. Now it is there in other books also. Now it is given code of ethics that chartered accountants chartered accountants can go to SEBI and get registrations, get registered with SEBI. CA firms, they can go to SEBI and get registered as a category 4 merchant banker. So merchant bankers are the people who help in IPOs and FPOs. So you can become merchant banker. You can become advisor to issue. Fine, you become that. That's okay. That is allowed. But then keep one thing in mind. In prospectus, your name will be written. In prospectus, your name will be written, and below your name, you can write advisor to issue. Below your name, you can write advisor to issue. But in your visiting card, in your letterhead, everywhere, designation should be chartered accountant only. So in prospectus, you can write advisor to issue. Everywhere else, it has to be only chartered accountant. Okay, only chartered accountant. Now, what was the question in exam? What they said in exam? That person became merchant banker with SEBI. In prospectus, he wrote merchant banker. In prospectus, he wrote merchant banker. Okay. And on visiting card letterhead, he wrote advisor to issue. That's incorrect. At both places, you are incorrect. On prospectus, advisor to issue was allowed, and on letterhead and visiting card, only chartered accountant was allowed. So at both the places, there was a mistake. There was a non-compliance of section 7. Now, next is very interesting. Other description. So what you write below designation, whatever you write after designation, it is called as other descriptions or letters. Now that's very interesting. Now these other descriptions or letters, if they are related to if they are related to, they indicate membership of other accountancy bodies. If they are connected to, related to membership of other accountancy bodies, whether in India or outside India, you can write it only if recognized by council. So what do you mean by that? Now listen. Let me give you example. CA Institute is an accountancy body. It its members can give accountancy services. Then we have accountancy and related services. Then we have CPA. It also gives accountancy services. We have CMA. It gives not exactly accounting, but accounting related services. We have CFA, which also gives accountancy related, which is for accountancy and related services. It is covered in that. Now listen, it's very simple. So we have a chartered accountant. He is writing designation chartered accountant. If chartered accountant wants to write any description or letter which is related to other accountancy bodies, you need previous permission of council. It should be recognized by council. It should be permitted by council. It should be permitted by council. It should be approved by the government or approved by the law. It should be approved. For this regard, it should be approved. Now, CA Institute has allowed that cost and management accountant is a accountancy body, and we are allowing to write CMA, ACMA or FCMA after his name, after designation. You can write CMA, ACMA, FCMA to indicate that you are member of the cost institute also. You cannot write cost accountant. You can write CMA. It is allowed. It is allowed. So, on the same lines, if CA Institute is having MOU or MRA, Memorandum of Understanding or mutual recognition agreement with foreign institutes, and CA is having its membership or qualification, then again he can indicate that membership or qualification in other descriptions and letters. That is allowed. See, so they have clarified with respect to CMA, you can write only CMA, not cost accountant. Fine. With respect to foreign institute, you can indicate membership of only those institute with whom you have MOU and MRA. Fine. If there is a dual COP, like we have studied with advocates, you can have dual COP. CA Institute has allowed. They have not allowed. But then we have studied both designations should not come together. Either write only advocate or write only chartered accountant. You cannot write both together. Fine. So you cannot write together. You have to write separately. If dual COP is allowed in practical life with company secretary or cost accountants or lawyers, don't write it together, write it separately. Now this point I will call that this is of designation. This can be covered. This point can be covered here also. That is, it is better to cover it there. Okay. As a last point there, we can cover it there. That's not going to change anything. That's fine. Now, CA Institute, CPA. CA Institute has not allowed members to write membership of CPA. Writing CPA is not allowed. CPA is accountancy body and CA Institute has not allowed writing CPA. See, when it comes to accountancy bodies, you can write any membership or qualification from them only if it is permitted by the council. Only if it is permitted by the council. It is not permitted by the council. CPA is not yet permitted. So chartered accountants cannot write CPA. If you find anyone writing CPA, that is incorrect. You cannot write CFA. I am level 2, I have cleared 2 levels of CFA, never appeared for level 3. I cannot write CFA. Not allowed. I cannot write in other description, I am director of so and so company. Not allowed. I am member of political party. Not allowed. I am a Rotarian. I am a Lion member. I am member of Rotary Club, Lions Club. Not allowed. Some chartered accountant sell. Not allowed. No, you cannot write all those things. You are director of so and so company. Not allowed. For practicing chartered accountants, you cannot write you're director of so and so company, you are member of political party, you are part of a CA cell of BJP, Congress, TMC, Aam Aadmi. You cannot write that. You cannot write you are member of so and so clubs. Not allowed, or other organization. But when it comes to other than accountancy bodies, you can write, no problem at all. If any qualification or membership, other than accountancy body, then it is absolutely fine. Like you are member of, you are LLB, that is other than accountancy, you can write LLB, no problem. BCom, it is not accountancy, it is not accountancy body, it is not from accountancy body, you can write it. MBA, it is not from accountancy body, you can write it, no problem at all. If any person has become insolvency professional, he can write insolvency professional. It is not accountancy body, absolutely fine. If any person is a registered valuer, he can write registered valuer, absolutely fine. It is not accountancy body. Yes, writing CPA and CFA is applicable to both, whether in practice or not. Applicable to both. Designation of CA firm. A CA firm can write designation chartered accountants if all partners of which are members of the institute and are in practice. You can put chartered accountants if all the members are CAs. They have not yet clarified what they will write for multidisciplinary firm. We'll discuss that later. There's a concept of multidisciplinary firm. Okay, not applicable. We'll discuss that later. So guys, it's very simple. It's very simple, straightforward. Regarding prefix, all the chartered accountants can use it. Whether you are in practice or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, but first become member. When it comes to designation, there are two options. There are chartered accountants in practice, chartered accountant not in practice. So there are two categories. When we talk about other descriptions or letters, if it is related to if related to accountancy body, other accountancy bodies, prior permission is required. Permission is there for CMA, permission is there for MOUs and MRAs, and where dual COP is allowed. Permission is not there for CPA, permission is not there for CFA, permission is not there to write about the directorships and political parties and clubs. It is not there. Other than accountancy body, you can write You can write LLB, BCom, MBA, absolutely fine. You can write insolvency professional, absolutely fine. They are other than accountancy bodies. Registered valuer, absolutely fine. Now, let's see the last thing for the day and then we will stop here. That is section 8. Okay. Section 8 is covered in module. Section 8 is covered in module. Who cannot become member of ICI? Disqualification. Who cannot become member of ICI? The person who has not attained the age of 21. Not attained the age of 21. Not attained the age of 21. Then you cannot become member of ICI. So, very young person, 12 years old, 13 years old, he cannot become member of ICI. So, the person who has not grown up cannot become grown up, but then court says that he has unsound mind. See, it's in a sequence again. Not grown up, you cannot become member of ICI. Grown up, but unsound mind, cannot become member of ICI. Okay. You are insolvent. Undischarged insolvent. I am not going into, what do you mean by discharged or undischarged. You study this in law. You study this in law. Okay, so if any person has become insolvent, he is disqualified. Insolvent is a person who is not able to pay off his liabilities. His assets, he is not able to pay off his liabilities. Able to pay off his liabilities, that person will be considered as insolvent. Okay. Now, he can go to the court and prove that, that this insolvency happened because of some reasons beyond his control. He should not be held responsible. So in that case, court is going to discharge his case. Okay, if you go to the court, get the court order, that means you are discharged. But in discharge, you will need certificate stating misfortune, that insolvency happened not because of you, but because of misfortune. Because of misfortune, correct? If that is the case, then such person can become CA. If you become insolvent, disqualified. Case is pending in the court, disqualified. Discharge, case is final order in the case is given, but you did not get that certificate of misfortune, again disqualified. Then next is last thing, if a chartered account is convicted by court in India or outside India for moral turpitude, that means something extremely bad, smuggling, terrorism, murder, something like that. Moral turpitude, for moral turpitude, and the punishment is transportation. Transportation, that means you are going to stay away from the area. Sometimes this happens. You should not enter Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu or Karnataka. You cannot enter this particular area. That's called transportation. Or imprisonment. You are punished by imprisonment. Okay. You are sent to jail. Then moral turpitude, as a punishment, there is a transportation or imprisonment, and it is not of technical nature. It is not that you forgot to fill up a form, or it should not be of technical nature. That there is only problem of not following a procedure. Then if person has done such a big thing, again he will get disqualified. So person who has not grown up, disqualified. Grown up but court says that unsound mind, disqualified. Undischarged insolvent, disqualified. Discharged but not having the certificate, again disqualified. Moral turpitude and punished, disqualified. If he is granted pardon, Granted pardon, that means granted pardon, that means uh, president or the other person who did the complaint, they have granted pardon. Okay, we are giving you pardon. That means we are saying that it's okay, you should not be punished. We don't want you to get punished and serve the imprisonment. If he got the pardon, he will get qualified. If central government says that you are very important person, you have done a lot for the country, we are removing your disability, again he will get qualified. Again he will get qualified. There are exceptions. If he gets pardon, he will get qualified. Central government helps, he will get qualified. Now, if a CA gets disqualified, he himself has to tell institute that, listen, now I am disqualified, remove my name from membership. So it is responsibility of CA to inform. If he doesn't do it, it will be considered as professional misconduct. So once you clear exams, complete your articleship, you have to fill up form number 2. You have to fill up form number 2 is for membership. And first line of form number 2 is, I beg to apply that my name is to be entered in the register. I hereby declare that I am not subject to any of the disabilities stated in section 8 of Chartered Account Act 1949. What I want to say that in first line you write that I am not disqualified as per section 8. I beg to apply, that's a very old English. Beg to apply means showing respect. Showing respect to the institute, nothing else. Okay. So guys, we'll stop here. Tomorrow we'll start at again 7 o'clock and we'll see remaining sections, and maybe we'll start with the first schedule. We'll start with the first schedule. We'll see few clauses. I will put audio revision. I will put audio revision on Auditguru Telegram channel. Okay. Bye bye everyone. You can do question answers. Do question answers. If you do question answers, that will be your homework. From PARAM question bank and MCQ book, you can cover the question answers.